Good morning. Oh, speaking of that, where's my coffee? Got a coffee. Don't you worry. Was talking to my buddy Dev. Hi, Dev, on Facebook. Met Dev on YouTube a long time ago. He's like, "You making any YouTube videos?" I'm like, "Not really." Because I've been working on my health. And I don't know, like, it's like, good and bad. I think the good is that I've just been doing, a lot to try to be, like, physically and mentally healthy. And what's going on down there? Oh, they're painting the street. The bad is that when I count back to when, I'm unlike everybody or anybody. Like, I have ups and downs, and but I count back to when my friend Mike passed away, and I should have seen some grief counselor, and I didn't, and I was really aware that, like, eventually I had to stop talking about how I felt to people around me, because, like, things go on and on. But so it didn't get any better for me. I just stopped talking about it. And then when Akila passed away, it was kind of similar. Like, I'd be talking about how I felt just, throughout the day or whatever, and people would change the subject, and I'm like, oh, okay. And so I stopped talking about that, but, like, the feeling didn't go away, and so now I'm coming up on, this summer will be a year after Akila's passing, and I still feel really, really bad. So I'm going to go see a grief counselor, and some other things that I'm going to look into. Like, someone mentioned that a prolonged period of grief or depression in your life might kind of like upset the chemical balance of your body and your brain. Like, so your brain just might get set, like the switch that switches over to depression or grief. What's going on there? Okay. Might just get stuck, and so I'm gonna go talk to somebody about that concept. Like, I don't know about that, but I've also kind of been in like a bit of a 4-year funk, and I wouldn't say I've been bottling it up, but I certainly haven't been talking, as much as it's on my mind. I'm not talking about it. Like, I am talking about it, but, like, the Amazon fans rolling out. Yeah, so I don't know. Talking about it would probably be good. Well, we'll see how it goes. Let's not get hit by an Amazon fan. And of course, I cut off the very last one. I felt like I should have slowed down and let him out. So yeah, I look forward to, like, just trying new things. Like, that was one of the reasons why I started doing road trips, even though I quote unquote hate driving the car. I learned to enjoy it, and also the reason why I did it is just to try something different. Like, not for variety's sake, but just, like, to find more tools and more solutions. And because, like, grief and depression is going to be something that, like, pops up now and again in everyone's life, and the more different ways you have to deal with it, the better. And so I'm gonna go see a counselor, and I'm gonna go see a doctor, and ask about the whole concept of, like, can your body get stuck producing like the effects of depression and grief, or stop producing like the positive chemicals your body puts out, like the positive, like, endorphins and chemicals and stuff like that. Like, because sometimes, like yesterday, for instance, I got home and I just sat on the couch, and I sat on the couch for like hours. And eventually I'm like, maybe I should just go to bed. Like, if I'm just gonna sit here, and like I wasn't necessarily like, I didn't feel bad, but I didn't feel like anything really. Like, I didn't feel like watching a movie, didn't feel like playing any video games, didn't feel like watching YouTube. If anything, I just felt tired. It was too early to go to bed, so I just sat there. That's another thing. Over the last year, I've spent way too much time in bed. There's like days I'd get up and get out of bed and eat breakfast and kind of move around, and then just like next thing you know, I'm back in bed. I always tried to fight against it, but there was sometimes it didn't seem like there was anything I could do about it. That was why I was like, let's get outside and ride your bike for a little bit, or get outside and just walk to the corner and back, or hop in the car and drive a little bit. And those things did a pretty good job. I don't know. These people walk their dog along that embankment, and it's like 100 yards, and the dog's got tiny legs, and by the time it gets back, I wonder where their car is. By the time it gets back to the road, it's moving so slow, it's like 10 feet behind them. Like, that's like the second time I've passed them and looked over and seen the two of them walking along and their dog about 10 feet back. I always like to walk behind Aquila if I could. Though sometimes, like when we were leaving, that's the thing. Like when you're leaving, if you don't lead, he will go so slow and like go left and right, anything but forward, because he knows we're heading back to the van. Back in the day. Or by the time I got this car, his ability to make it to the Delta had pretty much vanished. So, and it was like, he used to be able to launch himself into the air, and like, so getting into this car I thought would be fine, and it wasn't really. He started losing control of his back legs, essentially. So I bought him a ramp, and if you can't control your back legs, a narrow ramp's not any good either. So, oh well. Life is a combination of like the plans you make for it and then what happens, right? I'm always a big fan of those kind of like wrapping up a complex topic with like, it's this or the other thing. Like there's two kinds of people in the world. Those that do and those that don't. So it's supposed to be warm today. I'm looking forward to that. Just got a dress shirt on, no t-shirt on underneath it. Got all my I kind of think that like the weather is going to start improving. I hope so, at least, because I pulled out all my heavy winter jackets out of the car, and I just have like a couple jackets in here that if it gets really cold for some reason, I can just layer up. But I'm just kind of gambling on that weather's going to change. That tax is coming up. I do TurboTaxes, and I know it's like you're paying for something that you could get for free. And I went on the IRS website for their free taxes, and I was looking at their clunky system, and I'm like, there's no import your tax forms or anything like that. And sure, like you type it in bit by bit, but like when you do like investments, and when you have like a house and and also it doesn't keep track of your history or anything like that, which is weird, because like they do keep track of your history. They just don't keep track of oh look, there's a beam of light going across my face. They just don't keep a track of it for you and provide it for you, and TurboTax does. So, and also it just goes real fast, like just click and you're done. So every year it kind of bothers me that I pay to do my taxes, but thought, what are you gonna do? I I suppose what I could do is start printing out, or you could save it as like an email. I think, I don't know, you could save it to your computer, and then you'd have the records there, and I don't know. I guess like a lot of times I look for like what's not necessarily the best way, but like not even the most convenient way, like, because it is convenient. I just want things to go well. I just want things to go right, and I'll pay a little bit extra because like I did my taxes one year, and I mailed them a check, and they didn't get it, and I was just like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I tried calling them and contacting them, and I was like around tax season, and I couldn't get a hold of anybody, and like and then finally they garnished my wages. Like, that's the solution, was they just took the money that I paid them, they just took it again straight from my paycheck. And I didn't explain it at work or anything like that. I'm just like, they went in there and they gave me this weird look, and like, you got to sign this paper so you know what's happening. I'm like, okay, signed the paper and walked out. I'm like, all right, so I just paid double in taxes this year. Like, all right, so, you know, so that's the other thing too. It's like sometimes you got to acknowledge you're either a little fish, and you know, what's the use of fighting things? Or unless you got like a lot of time and resources, then you gotta figure out like what it's worth. You know, like how much was paying double in taxes? How much more time am I going to devote to this? Am I gonna go back to trying to call them over and over again? Yeah, I decided no. Decided the answer was no. That was back when I was living in a tiny house, and like didn't have a smartphone, didn't have access to the internet, and I would go to the library to get access to the internet, and I was just like, I threw up my hands up in the air, like, well, next year hopefully I'll do better. Hopefully next year things will work out better. All right, yeah, next year, I hope this year things work out better, actually. Not just taxes-wise, but everything-wise.